We believe that the EFCC can fight corruption without desecrating the courts. Comrades, ladies and gentlemen, first we would like to place it on record that immediately the current EFCC chairman, Mr. Olaolu Koyode, assumed office. We welcomed him with open arms because he is still our person that we believe in. Based on his antecedents, believing that he, as he has assured us, that all the atrocities, like the disobedience of court orders of his immediate predecessor, will be eliminated by him in the way he will handle the responsibilities. We still will believe that he will remember to work according to those assurances. As we said then, we regret it now. Again, that we'll continue to be partners with the EFCC in the decisive actions to kill corruption before corruption kills all of us. This emergency press conference is strictly to address the issues of justice with regards to the modus operandi of fighting, investigating, and prosecuting corruption by the agencies constitutionally charged with those responsibilities, especially the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. No Nigerian needs to be told that corruption has dealt a near fatal blow to Nigeria and its people, that is Nigerians. It is one abortus that has crippled the potential of Nigeria to be counted among the committee of advanced or advancing nations of the world. It is one constant menace that has unleashed untold suffering on the people with devastating consequences. We make bold to say that corruption is our common enemy, and we want to fight it with the last drop of our blood. As a coalition, partners that concern themselves with anti-corruption related activities, our primary objective is to advocate against every manner of corrupt practices and support the anti-corruption agencies to deliver optimally on their constitutional mandate through advocacy and other instruments. I hope you got that. We want to partner with all the ACAs to deliver on their mandate, to stamp out corruption from our society. We have come to the irrevocable conclusion that fighting, preventing and prosecuting corruption must be strictly within the ambit of the law, set up to regulate an interaction between anti-corruption agencies and corruption suspects. It is for this reason that those laws regulating the activities of law enforcement agencies in their encounter with the public were set up. Those laws, including the Nigerian Criminal Justice System regulations and court processes, are meant to be obeyed non-selectively by both the state and non-state actors. We are concerned with the debilitating effects of unbridled corruption on our country, as we are with the modus operandi of fighting corruption. Corruption is a subject of law. Anti-corruption agencies are products of the law. while the courts are the mediating authorities, constitutionally empowered between the government and corruption suspects or the accused, so-called. In this interaction between the law enforcement and perpetrators of crimes, no party can impose its preferences or will on the court. Please get that right. No party, neither the prosecutor or the prosecutee, because are the ultimate arbiters between two contending phenomena in order to avoid arbitrariness in both the law enforcement and violation. The courts are inviolable structural entities in every democracy that contain the tendency of human and institutions to act recklessly without recourse. In any situation where either the enforcer of the law or the one suspected to have violated the law acts contrarily to the law, it is a recipe for anarchy, which does not augur well for the collective interest of the society. Laws cannot be allowed to be broken without institutional intervention of state via enforcement. Ditto, laws cannot be enforced lawlessly. When laws are enforced lawlessly, oftentimes the culprit becomes the victim and the law becomes the loser. A law enforced lawlessly helps the culprit to escape justice because law pays attention to the due processes of the enforcement. It is in this wise that we like to encourage the EFCC, that's the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and other anti-corruption agencies to be cautious in the way they treat suspects of anti-corruption or corruption in order to avoid breaking a law to enforce another law. What we are saying is the agencies should not break a law while trying to enforce another law. The EFCC cannot judge its own case nor convict and sentence a suspect on its own authority. It can only investigate, charge, and prosecute an economic crime. Well, economic and financial crimes. It needs the courts to secure the punishment for the The EFCC cannot judge its own case nor convict and sentence a suspect on its own authority. It can only investigate, charge, and prosecute an economic and financial crime. It needs the court to secure the punishment for corruption and even recover the proceeds of corruption from the suspect. Therefore, the Commission needs the courts to function and succeed in its mission. That is, if the Commission charges an offender for economic or financial crimes, it takes the court to pronounce the suspect guilty as charged. This means that it has no respect and obey lawful court orders until such have been properly violated or vacated. I take that again. Therefore, the Commission needs the courts to function and succeed in its mission. This means that he has no respect. He has to respect and obey court orders until such have been properly vacated. One thing we must know is that our constitution and our constitution and laws places a very high premium on fundamental human rights of every Nigerian under all circumstances. Time will not allow me to do a comprehensive breakdown of those legal principles and procedures. The recent public face-off between the EFCC and the former governor of Kogi State in Abuja was both unnecessary and unfortunate. When you treat a suspect in a way deemed to be violating the constitutional rights, you drive public sympathy to his side. We do not consider Yaya Bello or the former governor Yaya Bello a saint. Never. We don't. But even the devil deserves his rights under the law. Court documents at our disposals show that the former governor had obtained a high court restraining order on the EFCC not to arrest or prosecute him pending the determination of a case of enforcement of his fundamental human rights. Please note that. Pending the case of the enforcement of his fundamental human rights, which the Commission has rightfully appealed with the intention of vacating. The Commission has done very well up to this point, following the due processes of the law, because without vacating that order, that initial order, it cannot proceed with arresting the suspect. Did you get that? Yeah. If the earlier order that restrained the agency from harassing, intimidating, or arresting him had not been vacated by a superior court or a court of similar jurisdiction, they cannot effect the arrest of the suspect unless they want to become an agency of outlaw or a lawless agency. And I believe, I don't want to talk now. According to the available court documents, hearing on the appeal that the EFCC filed has been slated to come up on Monday, just a few days away, April 22nd in Abuja. However, suddenly, yesterday, Wednesday, the news of foiled arrest, abortive arrest of the former governor by the Commission went viral. One would have expected the Commission to wait for the determination of its own appeal, the appeal filed by the agency. They should have waited for the determination of the appeal before going after the suspect. Why are they in a hurry? Yesterday's action was tantamount to both the EFCC preempting the outcome of the appeal and also violating a subsisting and valid order, court order, to pass action pending the determination of the case before it, even if a judgment is given by a drunken judge. Sure. It should be obeyed first and foremost by a lawful agency or person. Our layman's understanding, I'm not a lawyer, and many of us here are not lawyers. Our layman's understanding is that a court of coordinate jurisdiction cannot assume superiority over the other. The high court is high court. It doesn't matter whether you are from a state or from the federal authority. It has happened before. We have precedences. We think it's an abuse of court processes to ignore a court order, a valid court order as that, still on appeal by the respondent at the instance of the commission, and go to obtain a warrant through the back door to arrest the suspect from another court on the same subject matter. That is unfair. The question is, why is the EFCC in so much hurry to make arrests when you have your own appeals hearing coming up just a few days away? By this action, the EFCC seems to be giving credence to the allegations of political persecution in this case, and this is unwise, especially to somebody we welcome with open arms when he came to the office, an agency being headed by no other person than Ola Olukoyede that we knew was president, to be fair to justice, to abhor injustice. I'm disappointed if indeed he ordered such exercise. When the current chairman of the EFCC came on board last year, one of his promises was to operate strictly within the rule of law. And he went ahead to start implementing some policies with the intention of professionalizing the operations and the operations of the commission to operate without necessarily violating citizens' rights. He actually emphasized that. And he had a number of press conferences to say that he was not going to violate anybody's rights while carrying out his responsibilities under the acts that set up EFCC. One of such steps for which he had commended, for which we as a coalition, we had commended the commission's leadership when Olukoyede came, was the ban placed on nocturnal raids by his agents. When he came, he promised us that he was not going to violate people's rights. He said that he was not going to operate in violation of court orders, that he was going to follow the rule of law. If you must know, Olukoyede was somebody that we supported when he came to power. Why? Because we knew his antecedents. We didn't have the kind of history that we had on his predecessor, Abdulrasheed Bao. Nothing that we cannot be proud of by his antecedents. But with this, he needs to go explain tire. The EFCC must be active without being overzealous. It doesn't matter what you want to achieve as the chairman of EFCC or as members of the board of EFCC. You don't have to be overzealous beyond the provisions of the law that sets you up. It must carry out its operations legally without acting in a way that would suggest it is pandering to the political pressures from some quarters. What happened yesterday? Yesterday was Wednesday. What's the date?
Yes.
17th of April, 2024. What happened was condemnable on the basis of the commission acting ultra vires. Moreover, up till now, the commission is yet to show any evidence that it had earlier invited the former governor, which he didn't honor. Has he invited the former governor? Yes, a number of speculations that they must have invited him. But we don't have the evidence that they have invited him and he didn't honor it. But I don't care whether you honor or not. They must follow the due process in whatever they want to do. If that happens, the commission will have been justified to go after him for forcible arrest. But his fundamental human rights action in court preceded the commission's court charges against him. Did you understand that? When you go to court to enforce your fundamental human rights, no other court can rule against that unless you don't have basis for that process. Same yesterday, 17th of April 2024, conflicting court orders emerged from two courts of coordinate jurisdiction, and that is not fair to the image of our own country and to the image of the present administration that want to rule on the basis of rule of law and equality before the law. But the EFCC allegedly rushed to another court or another high court to obtain order to make arrests contrary to an earlier judgment by a court of coordinate jurisdiction. This is orchestrated political anarchy because a law enforcement agency is seen to be misleading the court and violating the processes of the law. It is an unnecessary confusion being created by an agency that should uphold the tenets of the fundamental human rights of the people and should implement the laws of the federation that was set up by same federation, the law of the federation, and relying on the same courts to get the suspects convicted. Why would they do that? However, we commend the EFCC operatives for exercising restraint by not forcibly breaking into the former governor's house like they did in the past with some suspects. You remember Okorocha? Yeah. We warned them then that what they were doing was diabolic, which is not acceptable in decent society. And we have warned the present administration in the EFCC that whatever you want to do it with decency. Respect fundamental human rights. Do not be too zealous to get things done even when you have not done your homework properly. Why should we allow that to fester in our society? We blame the past administration in the EFCC for messing up with the rule of law, and you came in under the guise that you are going to obey the rule of law. And you are doing all of this. For those who are likely to misinterpret this intervention as it is their regular trademark, they will want to twist what we are doing. Don't mind them. This goes beyond Yaya Bello. It goes beyond the former governor of Kogi State. No, that is not what we do. Because the other time when we say Bawa didn't do right, they say that, oh, it was because of Yaya Bello's brother. No, it is because of disobedience of court orders. And disobedience of court orders, even by prison authorities that said that the former EFCC boss should be committed to prison. And they didn't do it. Up to now, they have not done it. So it is because we desire to have a country where the principle and the rule of law we govern, rather than rule of the tongue. Injustice to anyone, no matter how bad the person is, even if Yaya Bello had been bad, may be perceived, should not be allowed to stand because it may be your turn tomorrow. It may be Ola Olukoyede's turn tomorrow. In fact, I've Rashid Bauer is supposed to be prosecuted. He's supposed to be prosecuted, by the authorities. We are still waiting for EFCC and other anti-corruption agencies to prosecute it based on the allegation that was leveled against before him. So he was the chairman yesterday. He cannot be chairman today. Obla Olukoyede is my personal friend, if you must know. But then, our friendship ends where the rule of law begins. I'm a human rights activist, and if you must know, I'm the president of the Committee for Defense of Human Rights, the foremost human rights membership organization in this country. So I protect the rights of the people, I protect the rights of agencies, I protect the rights of institutions. You must be able to do your work, but when you are doing your work, you must not violate the law, the rights of others. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen of the press, we urge the EFCC to revert to status quo antebellum pending the determination of its own appeal and evacuation of the restraining order placed on it by the High Court, the State High Court in Lokoja. They should wait for it. Why are they in a hurry? That is the way and the dictate of the law. And I just believe that all our legal luminaries should not mislead the nation. They should not mislead the agencies. They should not mislead the people to believe in lies that are being told. You cannot falsify our laws, and we will accept you as a legal mind. So what we are saying is that they should wait for whatever comes out of their own appeal before they begin to do what they are doing now. They should not take laws into their own hand. Nobody is more powerful. Nobody created by the law, no institution created by the law is more powerful than the law that created it. Don't think that I am angry. I am concerned. And I don't lie because I believe so much in the present EFCC. But if they adopt this system to apprehend a suspect that is yet to be convicted, I don't care how bad that suspect is. His fundamental human rights should always be obeyed. Thank you all for listening. I am Debo Adeniro. You may not even mind the comrade behind it. I'm the chairman, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership. In this case. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. The attempt by our institutions, particularly the Supreme Court order, ask election rigging or whatever, but disobedient to the court. And until we continue to emphasize these agencies, obey agencies, but for the benefit of the larger society. So stop a lot of people who we know have looted public funds in this country are working free because of the overzealousness of some agencies of government, particularly anti-corruption agencies, in dealing with this matter. We are prevailing on the current leadership of the EFCC, just like he said, that we have trust in to follow the rules of law and order in the implementation of the activities of the Commission. We must not continue to allow a situation where we continue to drive public sympathy to those who ordinarily should be sitting before the court of public opinion. So, yes, we must be very careful, but ultimately, we will not encourage any form of action that seek to undermine our courts, because that is the ultimate and the last hope of the common people. Thank you.
Sorry, I lost him. I just made the press. You see, why it appears that we are not happy with the situation is because when the current EFCC chairman came on board, most of us were happy that yes, EFCC is going to get it right. Moreover, this person was coming as a man of God, in quotes. As a man of God, you know what I mean. And he is a man of God in one of the foremost church, in this country. And we applauded him. But it appears that the EFCC always play a particular script of destroying cases that ought not to be destroyed. They keep cases on arrival, and it's very unfortunate. There are so many people at the helm of affairs in this nation today who are working, who are corrupt, who are working freely. Let them go and mount their searchlight at the gate of National Assembly. They have a lot of people to pick from there on a daily basis and send them to jail. But it's not those that have obtained genuine court orders. And you're going against the same court that you want to use to prosecute a suspect. I think this current chairman should be very careful. About some years ago, we called for a removal of power. People were laughing at us. They said power will not be removed. But where is power today? Power is gone. And if he's not careful, we will also call for his removal. And that's a bitter truth.
Nobody should obstruct. Nobody's obstructing. We are just saying that due process must be followed. Yabelo today is a free man. You know it out. He's a politically exposed person. You can easily reach him. One, you know his addresses. You can easily drop letter for him. So why the body? So those when Yabelo then was alleging political persecution of himself, it is obvious now. Because if not, why the hurry? Why the haste in trying to arrest him?
Carrying properties and human beings. If we make mockery of the fight against corruption, people will make fun of us. When it is time to go for any other person, they will say, how did you end the previous case? So we need to be very careful. And I know that in some countries, to even pick a corrupt person up can take you more than 3 years. You know where he's eating, you know where he's spending relaxation, you know the details of his family. So there's no escape route for him whenever you want to pick him up.
There's no reason for hurry.
There is victory for us. Victory. There is victory for us. In the struggle for our freedom. There is victory for us. Forward. Africa.